have a great one for you all today. It is a $50,000 grant. And I want you to know a grant like this doesn't come around too often. So I need you to lock in because I'm gonna share with you very important information that'll make a key difference in whether or not you win this grant. But before I get ahead of myself, I wanna quickly explain what are grants, how to avoid scams, how to actually apply to a grant, helpful ChatGPT prompts that will improve your grant application, and then I'll wrap it up with more details about this $50,000 grant. And so it's important that we start at the very beginning. So what exactly are grants? Grants are debt-free funding that you can use to start, fund, and grow your business. And yes, you heard me right. You can win grants to start a business. Although truthfully, there aren't that many out there, but there are some. In fact, I've put together a list for you. I'll share in a bit how you can get it. But there are grants out there for every different type of business. And the reason why you should actually care about grants and consider it a legitimate part of your overall business funding strategy is because grants are debt-free. And you truly don't know how important it is until you get into thousands of dollars of debt for your business and then feel the pressure of having to pay it back. And so the way that grants generally work is that oftentimes they'll give you cash that's direct deposited into your business checking account. And so whether you are a sole proprietorship, LLC, S Corp, or C Corp, you should have a separate and dedicated business checking account. If you don't, no worries, as it takes less than 10 minutes to get this started. I have a $500 sign-up bonus available if you meet their bonus requirements. And you can scan the code right here to get more details. But basically, this is through my banking partner, Bluevine, and is personally one of the business checking accounts that I use for my business. Once you get this set up, you're in a much better position to receive the grant funds. And so in addition to the grant money, you oftentimes will get free marketing. And so a lot of times the grant sponsor or organization behind the grant will promote your business across their socials. They'll be like, hey everybody, we just gave this person $10,000, $5,000, $50,000. So preparation is very important when it comes to applying to these grants, especially grants like this one that are over $10,000. And so to really get your hands on this money, like real talk, you do need to look credible, legitimate, and be serious about your business. In most cases, really large organizations aren't going to hand out a serious amount of cash if you're not operating as a real business. By real business, I mean having a legal entity in place. The simplest and easiest one you can set up is an LLC. They'll literally set it up for you in no more than 20 minutes. Plus, they have a free plan. And so you do need a business entity like an LLC. You also want to have a business email, a business address, and a business website. And I know this all might sound like a lot, but you can get it done piece by piece. In fact, I have a full grant-ready roadmap for free included inside the Grant House community. And so although there are a few steps you do need to do to position yourself for funding, it's worth it, especially for a $50,000 grant. I just want you to take a moment and imagine what you could do with $50,000. How would it change your life, your family, your business? That is all possible with grants. And so if you do need some more help, you do have the Grant House as a resource. And so when it comes to finding grant opportunities like this one, you really want to make sure it's coming from a legitimate website. You want to look to see, does the website have a social media presence? Do you see a person behind the brand? Or is it a well-established company? You also want to look at previous winners. How many people before have won the grant? And so if they've given out multiple grant awards in the past, it's a good sign that the company is legit. A few more tips that I have for you is that you can always use AI tools to help you. You can put the website domain and any additional information you need to into ChatGPT and say, hey, let me know if this looks legit. From there, you have a much better understanding of whether or not it's a good opportunity, but more importantly, whether or not it's a good opportunity for you. The next way I would use ChatGPT is to rank your likelihood of winning the grant. Because I know you don't like to waste your time. I don't either. And so in addition to your personal details, which ChatGPT should already have saved, you're gonna include the eligibility requirements as well as the scoring criteria. And you're gonna ask ChatGPT to act as a grant judge based on the eligibility and scoring criteria. How likely am I to win the grant? Give me a score from 10 to 0. Your score will then determine whether or not the grant is worth your time. And so I can share AI tips for days, but I know we gotta get going to what you really care about. So let me tell you more about this $50,000 grant. And so the company sponsoring this grant, which will be the name you'll see when you get the check or direct deposit, is Rippling, which if you haven't heard before, it is like an all-in-one business management software. It can help companies manage their payroll, IT, HR, and much more. And so if you're hearing all of this and like, oh, I struggle with managing my employees, I struggle with keeping my systems in order, then good, because this is a grant you've been looking for. And they've made it really simple to apply by breaking it down into 3 stages. Stage 1 is going to be a simple eligibility check. This is where you'll fill out a few questions that should take you no more than 2 minutes. Once you fill that out, if you do meet the eligibility, then they'll send you to stage 2, where you'll make your business case. This is where you'll share why you should receive $50,000. And just to share a few tips with you, you want to be very, very clear. And I personally would recommend you include tips in your application, which stands for timeline, impact, purpose, and story. If you want more details on the TIP strategy, then feel free to join the Grant House. And so if you pass stage 2, we get to what you really care about. And that's where Rippling will announce the $50,000 grant winner. And the date of this announcement will be November 2nd. And so you want to make sure between the deadline, which is September 30th for stage 2, and November 2nd, you're checking your email and you follow Rippling across social media, because you do not want to miss an alert, a notification, or a request for more information. And so if you factor in my recommendations, you are setting yourself up for success, because I don't want you to just win this grant. I want you to win many more. And these are really good tips that can help you do just that. Now let's get into the eligibility, or the criteria your business needs to meet in order to qualify for this grant. And so the first really big one, and I know that this factors out new businesses, I'm sorry to say, you are required to have between 10 to 50 employees. And then for the second requirement, which isn't asking too much, and from the grants I've personally seen, opens the door to a lot of companies, is that you do need to have a headquarters or be based in the US, the UK, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. And so if you are located in one of those countries and you meet the employee requirements, you are eligible to apply to this $50,000 grant. And so now that you know you qualify, let's talk about how you can set yourself up to have the best chance of winning. The first way you can do that is by knowing and using their scoring criteria. And so most grant sponsors will grade the applicants based off a specific rubric. Oftentimes, each one is different. Rippling has its own. And so the way they score grants is based off a 100-point scale. I left the scoring criteria right here. You can take a quick screenshot of it so that you have it when going into the grant application. And so to truly stand out when it comes to this grant or any other grant you come across, it is truly a unique combination of your personal story, your business's impact, the mission and values you have, and the use of funds. And so if you're able to clearly communicate on those different points, it makes a recipe for success. And so if you keep going, commit to continuous improvement and not giving up, a success is on its way to you. And if you want me to include the direct link to this grant, because Google be tripping, make sure to get this video to 100 likes. I cannot wait to see you next time, and make sure to check out the video right here on how to open up a business checking account.